like to support the channel, please just click the links in the description below, and thank you to everybody that's already supporting. So once again, unhinged, rude, and unprofessional CNN reporter Jim Acosta was removed from a press conference because he is unable to control his Trump derangement syndrome. Acosta lashed out during the press conference and was quickly corralled by a White House staffer who removed him from the room.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Mr. President, if there is no collusion, why does Rudy Giuliani keep saying there is no crime and collusion?
Let's go.
Mr. President, do you think other countries should not allow children to stay with their parents if they come in illegally?
Come on, Jim. Go. We're done. We're leaving.
Man, he's an idiot. But the liberals sit there and scream unfair and say that this is suppressing freedom of the press. When in all reality, all he's doing is actually protesting the whole entire time. He's literally causing distraction. And that's his main goal. Him and April Ryan are pretty much just paid protesters to sit there and distract the press, race bait, and cause division. And that's literally their whole entire goal. But it's funny that the libs are actually screaming that all this is unfair because this is the same thing that Bill Clinton has also done to Fox reporters in the past.
The thing that he really went off on, went ballistic, was when I asked him about the 4 FBI agents. These are career agents who testified 2 days earlier at the time. This is September 24th. About the investigation into Chinese fundraising, other fundraising that over there at the task force of the Justice Department. They said, in the most explosive testimony, they said that the political appointed lawyers over at Justice have been, in effect, blocking them from following any leads back to the president. I asked the president about that, and that's when I pulled back a bloody stump.
A report that you banned this reporter from future social events for raising.
First off, I think I've lectured on the virtues or lack thereof of depending on the Drudge Report for your news, but I'll make an exception and actually answer that question, even though that's how you're basing your. I was asked for comment from the reporter about the incident, and I made the comment that the only regret I have is inviting him to the party, and I wouldn't make that mistake again. So to the extent that we judge coverage of this building by the parties, he's banned.
I mean, I don't know how many times we're going to have to keep seeing all the hypocrisy from these people. And it makes no sense to their ideology of screaming for equality when they want more rights than others. I mean, we already seen a lot of two-tier kind of justice systems that's been floating around this whole entire thing. And we all know it's a giant coup that's against Trump. Everybody is against Trump in this whole entire left-wing liberal cesspool here. And they infiltrated almost every single public business and everything out there just to make sure that they could keep their one-sided ideology pumping out to the masses while suppressing anybody else that's trying to question it. The Southern Poverty Law Center has actually gotten involved into a lot of different social media platforms out there, and they've been helping censor all the conservatives out there while leaving the left ideology untouched. But it doesn't stop at the social media platforms. They actually caught the FBI colluding with SPLC as well. According to Fox News host Tucker Carlson, the SPLC has colluded with the FBI to wrongly label innocent Americans as domestic terrorist threats while simultaneously ignoring the real terrorists.
Well, Twitter has long denied that it is biased against conservative accounts. That's obviously a lie. It's always obviously been a lie, and now it is a proven lie. A new report by Vice found that Republican lawmakers and other conservative accounts wouldn't show up in the search bar when users searched for them. That is censorship, obviously, and it was intentional. Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida was one of those conservatives shadow banned by Twitter. He has filed a complaint against the company with the Federal Election Commission. Congressman Gaetz joins us tonight. Congressman, thank you for coming on. So I guess the first is a factual question. You're certain that this happened to you and it was intentional?
Well, I'm certain that there were only 4 members of Congress who had their voices suppressed on Twitter. Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, Mark Meadows, and Devin Nunes. So that'd be one hell of a coincidence. My suspicion is that if people were effectively communicating a conservative message, they got caught in Twitter's troll trap. The reason that I think that that is illegal is because that it gives advantages to our political opponents. It gives them access to the platform that we don't have. If Twitter was a billboard company and they gave Democrats access access to their billboards and not Republicans, that would be an illegal corporate donation to the campaigns of Democrats. Here, instead of the billboard, it's the auto fill-in function as a part of Twitter's search feature that wasn't available to me, Devin Nunes, Mark Meadows, or Jim Jordan, and it's available to Democrats.
You believe that the FEC can remedy this?
They absolutely can institute fines, just like they could institute fines and punishment against any company that illegally makes a corporate donation to a political campaign. Here, the corporate donation is allowing Democrats and the people running against me specifically to have access to elements of the search feature that I didn't have access to. And why, Tucker? Why? Twitter has said in their official response that it was my behavior that resulted in this. I don't know what behavior that is. So are we really going to trust tech companies to be able to just decide with no transparency what behavior limits someone's ability to amplify their message? That sounds like the Tech Tyranny series you did a couple months ago is coming to life before our very eyes.
Well, it clearly is, and Twitter is a fairly small player in this world. It's a failing company anyway. Google dominates all of tech, and in fact, it's the portal through which almost all human information flows. So if Google were to hold things back in search or put its thumb on the scale in any way, they could have a huge effect on our society. Congress exists to make sure that the public interest is represented, and yet I've never heard a member of Congress say, we're going to get to the bottom of this, we're going to break up Google, we're going to fulfill our oversight role here. Why not?
Well, frankly, too many members of Congress just don't understand the gravity of the issue, but now we're the ones that have the targets drawn on our foreheads, and so I think that you'll see more engagement from the Congress coming forward. A reasonable libertarian might ask, why shouldn't I just leave Twitter? Why should I have excessive government regulation? And it's important to recognize Twitter and other social media companies use the federal government to get rid of lawsuits that they don't want to have to defend against, and they use a provision that requires them to hold themselves out as a neutral public forum. So Twitter and Facebook can't say on one hand, we're neutral and thus we shouldn't have to respond to lawsuits, and then on the other hand, tell me and other outspoken conservatives that our behavior results in suppression on their platform. Right. They can't have it both ways.
Well, Google has a monopoly, as does YouTube, and they routinely suppress political views they don't agree with, and the Congress does absolutely nothing about it. And I hope they will change their ways immediately. Congressman, thank you. It was great to see you, and I hope you'll keep us posted on how this turns out.
Will do. Thanks, Tucker.
Well, as you already know, if you've been paying any attention at all, the Southern Poverty Law Center is an entirely fraudulent enterprise. The organization has nothing to do with the South or with poverty. It's a left-wing political group that uses hate crime designations to target its ideological enemies and to crush people. In 2012, the SPLC inspired a shooting attack on the Family Research Council by labeling the innocuous Christian organization a hate group. Just last month, the SPLC paid $3.3 million for falsely calling the Quilliam Foundation, quote, anti-Muslim extremists. We could go on. The Southern Poverty Law Center lies. They are utterly reckless, and they're totally dishonest. With that in mind, it was shocking to discover, as jaded as we are, and this show has discovered it exclusively, that the FBI has a long history of collaborating with the Southern Poverty Law Center. In 2009, for example, the FBI called the SPLC, quote, a well-known, established, and credible organization that monitors domestic terrorism in the U.S. The SPLC repeatedly has been allowed to brief FBI personnel on alleged terror threats to this country. Disturbingly, though, this relationship is ongoing, if you can believe it. Despite multiple requests from this program, the FBI has refused to describe the extent of its collaboration with the SPLC, we've asked repeatedly, or even to explain why it continues to work with a group like that. Instead, we've received meaningless and mindless boilerplate statements like this one, quote, for many years, the FBI has engaged with various organizations, both formally and informally. Such outreach is a critical component of the FBI's mission, and we welcome information from these organizations on any possible violation of civil rights, hate crimes, or other potential crimes or threats. We do, however, evaluate our relationships with these groups as necessary to ensure the appropriateness of any interaction. Again, mindless pap that does not answer the question. We can report tonight that Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida has sent a letter to FBI leadership asking them to explain their relationship with the SPLC, which is obviously very troubling, to put it mildly. Then tonight, the DOJ gave us another statement. This one said, quote, the Attorney General has directed the FBI to reevaluate their relationships with groups like this, the SPLC, to ensure the FBI does not partner with any group that discriminates, end quote, as the SPLC certainly does.
I mean, companies like this is the reason why the censorship is so high everywhere. It's the reason why it's so hard for our voices to actually get out there. And it's definitely something that Congress does need to get to the bottom of it. And I think they was absolutely right about the reason why Congress isn't really looking into this is because they don't understand technology to begin with. A lot of them are actually very new into the whole social media system. They don't understand what shadow bans are or anything. But there's more and more being educated on a daily basis now about this, and I think it's going to start getting a lot more sunlight to it. The saddest thing I find about the whole entire thing is they're mixing business with politics to begin with. That destroys almost any business out there. You can't run a successful business if you mix politics with it. The division is too real there. There's so many different groups out there that do not all agree on the same exact thing. And any business owner out there should be able to put that into a perspective. I mean, the whole purpose of a business is to make money. And you're really going to shoot yourself in the foot just because you don't like someone else's beliefs? I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. But I'm not giving up. I do hope to see a day where all this is actually finally sorted out. I'm hoping that's not just wishful thinking, but I believe it can be possible. But for now, all we could do is just use what resources we have left and just keep doing what we're doing. It's like the old saying, what doesn't kill us will only make us stronger. What do you guys think about all this? Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace! Please subscribe to our channel, like our video.